Good evening, everybody. If we could please take a seat. I got mine. If we could please take a seat. And if we could, and we'll read a statement here in a little bit, but once again, if people could be quiet, just because sometimes it's difficult for people to hear. It's not that we're trying to stagnate what people are saying. We just want to be able to hear what people are saying at the podium. So that's why we need to keep the room quiet, if we could, please. All right. I'd like to call the council meeting to order and start with a roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Present.
Hertz.
Here.
Tweet.
Here.
Swanson. Here. Parker.
Here.
Poulos.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
And Mayor Tomes.
Here. Thank you. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Okay, we have item number 5.
A proclamation declaring this the week of April 21st through the 25th as National Community Development Week to celebrate the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, program. Whereas the CDBG program is celebrating 51 years of providing local governments with the resources required to meet the needs of persons of low and moderate income, and CDBG funds are used by thousands of neighborhood-based nonprofit organizations throughout the nation to address pressing neighborhood and human service needs. And whereas the CDBG program provides annual fundings and flexibility to local communities to provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing, a suitable living environment, and economic opportunities to low and moderate income people. And whereas over the past 5 years, our community has received $6,340,152, which was used to fund many activities, including ADA accessibility to Hodge Park and Dinkman Park. The Central Fire Station received a new roof, ADA bathrooms in the downtown library, and new siding on the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. Whereas 190 single-family homes received assistance through our owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program, 2 houses fully renovated and sold in our urban homestead program. And whereas funding for nonprofit agencies to prevent, prepare, and respond to COVID-19, funding to serve Rock Island residents by partnering with the 6 local nonprofit agencies.
Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, do hereby proclaim the week of April 21st through the 25th, 2025 as Community Development Week in the City of Rock Island. Miles, I think you're accepting this? I'm the guy. Well, let's come over this way for a second for a photo op. You wish to? Nope. Okay. Thank you. Yes, I won't say anything out loud.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, B, proclamation declaring April 5th through the 11th as the week of the young child, whereas the first year of a child's life are the period that is most rapid brain development and lays the foundation for all future learning. And whereas 64,500 children in Illinois receive child care assistance per month on average, and whereas participation in high quality early childhood education saves taxpayer dollars, makes working families more economically secure, and prepares children to succeed in school, earn higher wages, and live healthier lives. And whereas the average wage for child care providers who are skilled and valuable professionals is less than $11.91 per hour. Whereas payment rates provided to early childhood educators to provide high quality early care and educational services to low income children do not cover the cost of the quality. And whereas young children need developmentally appropriate, accessible, and available early care and educational settings. Whereas working families need sufficient, accessible, and affordable high-quality child care spaces beginning at birth to be available in the community. And whereas early childhood educators need the ability to to earn a professional wage that is with the required education and skills they bring to the complex and valuable work that they do.
Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, do hereby proclaim the week of April 5th through the 11th, 2025, as the Week of Young Child in the City of Rock Island, and urge all members of our community to support efforts that increase children and family access to high-quality early childhood education. Is there anybody here for...
Somebody from the YWCA was supposed to be in attendance. I don't know.
Anybody here from the
I haven't seen
YW?
anybody.
Seeing nobody, I guess we'll give this to them at a later date. Thank you very much. Yes. Next up, public comment.
And due to the number of people that have signed up, I just want to quickly go over the rules and guidelines that the council adopted on May 20th, 2019. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes, but if additional time is needed, public comment will be extended at the end of the meeting for additional speakers. So we're going to get through the first 30 minutes, and then we'll go in at the end of the meeting for the additional speakers that have signed up. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to address council and only one opportunity to speak. Each speaker must sign into the sign-in sheet prior to the meeting, which all of you should have already done. And when your name is called, go to the podium at the front and state your name for the record. Address your comments to council as a whole and not to individual members. Be concise with your comments. You have a limit of 5 minutes. Be civil and courteous in your comments. Profanity will not be tolerated. Speakers may not use public comment to harass council or engage in disturbing behavior. Public comment is not for asking questions of council or engaging in a dialogue or debate. Conversations with council members should be arranged for outside of council meetings. Again, disturbances will not be tolerated and may be cause for removal. As stated in the work session, we also have an additional ordinance, section 2-40, relating to conduct at city council meetings, which states that it shall be unlawful for any person to, by his conduct, interfere with the orderly conduct of a city council meeting after first being warned that his conduct is disrupting the assembly and is given the opportunity to cease and yet fails to do so. And any person violating the provisions of the section shall be subject to a fine of not less than $25 nor more than $500. So those are the policies and ordinances currently in place, and we ask that everyone be respectful, and we'll start calling everyone in order.
Correct. Let me ask this question. There are a few people that want to talk about a totally different topic than the bottoms. And there are quite a few people who want to talk about the bottoms. My thoughts are to let them, even though they're at the end of the list, my inkling is to go from have them speak. So just because there's just a few of them, it's and trying to be courteous to everybody, because well, obviously some have already had a chance to speak for the bottoms. I'm hearing, seeing the audience, reading the audience. They're not excited about that. Apologize. All right. Tony, is it Tony Ball?
Tony Bear.
Tommy, I'm sorry. You can't
Tony,
read that
it's
well.
okay. It's all right. Let me start my timer here. I am a Third Ward resident, part of the grassroots movement that helped get Mayor Harris into office. I'm just confused about what's really going on. There's a whole lot of Rock Island. I'm not sure why you guys are wasting these people's time if they live here and they're telling you they don't want to have this development where you guys are trying to put it, which seems like you guys have already made your mind up. But thank you, because I think that is what got Ashley Harris into office. So I appreciate it. Now, as far as the public comment, what I saw you guys are trying to do, I don't know if this is a what do you call it, temper tantrum, because certain people aren't in office anymore, but you're trying to make it so the public comment goes from just 30 minutes, whereas before it was unlimited, and you're trying to get people limited down from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. I think that's unfair. It seems like you want us to come to city council meetings, and then when we finally show up and we're telling you how we feel, then it's like, we don't want to know what you feel like anymore. We're going to shut you down. So that's what it feels like you're doing. I'm not sure why you guys are wanting to do that now when things are about to change hands, but okay, all right? It's like another distraction, right? They don't want the mile and bottoms disturbed. Y'all realize that, right? You got 11th Street, you got 18th Avenue, all that stuff. I'm sorry, right? So you guys are wasting all this time when you have property that you can build this stuff on. But like the young lady said, I think she left, I think some people's got their hands greased. You guys already got your minds made up. Some of you, let me say some of you, right, have already got your minds made up. There's people out here who wants to work, right? They want to have an opportunity to provide for their family. They want to feel like they're valued. Do you guys feel like you're valued? I don't think you do. They're not listening to you, right? Oh, okay. You have your people who put you in your seats telling you they don't want this. You guys, and I'm confused at how this guy got any type of award. Isn't he the one that's saying, hey, we want this? I'm so confused. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for your last 8 years, okay? Now it's time for that change. Let's see what's happened, y'all.
Okay, we keep moving. Is it Tim Murphy? That's fine. That's reading the room. I read the room and.
Direction was going.
No, that's fine. I appreciate the confusion, but.
My name's Tim Murphy. I'm from Moline, Illinois, and I've been here 3 times. This is my 3rd time, I guess. And during the past presentations, I have suggested that the proposed development will negatively impact on the environment of the area. I believe no amount of planning will stop noise, light, and potentially runoff from occurring. And after all, light and especially sound are very difficult to contain. And we all know that drainage systems and holding ponds can be overwhelmed by heavy rain events or over time will likely leak. And of course, any land developed into a building or a parking lot is the natural environment completely destroyed. And though this is a sandy site, upland, I agree, unlikely to flood, it won't. When it's a parking lot, it's something totally different than the environment. I attempted to appeal in last time to one's moral code as well. In my opinion, we have a duty to preserve habitat. There is so little left of this habitat. Why does this ground need to be negatively impacted? I attempted to suggest, in past speech, that the economic theory behind the success of this project could very easily be flawed and money will be wasted. Again, where is the study that suggests that you will have a synergistic development between a cannabis dispensary, a truck stop, and a casino? Today, though, I am back to the development itself. My understanding is a truck stop the size of Love's in Northwest Davenport will be built. I don't believe this site simply is not large enough for a truck stop of this size, let alone one with a dispensary attached. And as Tim said, currently there is a little lane leading onto the site that will have to be tripled in size to accommodate large vehicles. It can be made larger, but that will require filling the wetlands. My understanding is there's no actual development until the TIF plan, no actual development plan until the TIF is approved. I would suggest this is not a prudent approach. The City Council should know what it is buying before the sale, not after. Now my last comments are kind of extemporaneous based on the dog and pony show that was earlier today. I personally do not want a boardwalk in Milan Bottoms. Milan Bottoms is what it is because people do not easily get in there. You put people in, and that has to impact what is happening. Again, my moral code is leave the nature alone. We developed everything we could already practically. It's the last little piece left. Just leave it be. Secondly, we're not against development. Put the truck stop, put the dispensary on the corner of 92 and Andalusia Road, 2 miles down? Put it there, not here. Lastly, if you're going to build boardwalks and those sorts of things, they're not exactly cheap, and who's going to maintain them? You have a floodplain, you have detritus, you have trees, you have debris coming over these sorts of things. It's a big expense. Lastly, we've been packing this meeting for the last 3 sessions. Very few people have been in favor of what you're doing. When will you listen to the people? Thank you.
Thank you. Madeline?
Hi, I'm Madeline Markozich. I taught environmental biology at Blackhawk for many years. My husband taught biology for 30 years at Blackhawk full-time. I was not full-time. My husband is a herpetologist, which is a person who studies snakes, lizards, and amphibians. The Blandings turtle is a uniquely endangered species, listed in the state of Illinois and listed nationally. This is a turtle that lives there. It's not easy to see. Turtles come up between duckweed and other weeds, and you cannot see them easily. It's hard to even study them. They're not as apparent as eagles. The problem with changing the amount of lighting, that will affect your eagles roosting in that area. It will affect endangered turtles. It will affect endangered bat species like the northern long-eared bat and the Indiana bat. Nahant Marsh is only 2.5 miles away, and it has examples of all these animals there. They do not have many. My husband recently wrote this article and sent it to the Illinois National Survey, which shows a survey of all the animals that have been done by him and several other people in the last 20 years in that area, in the Milan Bottoms area. It's also been sent to the Field Museum of Natural History. He is associated with the Field Museum. When he got his PhD at U of I Circle in Chicago, he worked at the Field Museum doing research on herpetology. Amphibians are uniquely unable to take environmental pressures. Turtles and their nesting, they have to, specifically the Blandings turtle has to come upland into sandy areas to lay its eggs where it nests in the spring. Generally speaking, of course, some turtles get hit on 192 or whatever that is all the time, but it's not a common occurrence to see that turtle in this area, although it is there. I've got the information in that paper. My husband wanted me to say that he's sick right now, that he understands that the city and others discussed restoring wetlands there. I really don't, he says he doesn't really understand this because any bona fide PhD level restoration ecologist would view this area as it presently exists in Milan Bottoms as the ultimate goal of many such ecological restoration involving wetlands. So it already is what it should be right now, that it evolved there and it changed with time when the roads were built. But to change it again is going to put so much pressure on these animals and plant communities in the area. So it has developed over geological time, and we're trying to stop that, basically. More scientific work needs to be done. There hasn't been enough scientists. Unfortunately, he is not healthy enough to go in there himself. I have been one of his field helpers when he's gone to South America, when he's gone to do work in Keithsburg and around this area. So I'm his research assistant, basically. But we would like to be able to be in that area and do a proper survey and get a proper informational. All this information needs to be out before that area is ever messed with. most of what Shive Hattery put out, according to what we've been able to find out, was done by computer and sitting at someone's desk and not actually walking into the area. There has been several scientists and biologists that have gone in the area, but not everyone has been there.
About 30 seconds left.
Okay, we heard that recently public access from that site has been blocked by the city, and we're not sure why. We've been told that by a young lady who's been talking to my husband on the phone. So I will give you the paper. I paraphrased it to make it faster.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will give you what I've got.
Okay. Kelly.
My name's Kelly McKay. I'm a wildlife biologist from Hampton, Illinois. Let me just start by discussing what is actually at stake here, beginning with bald eagles. Again, communal night roosts are absolutely vital to the survival of wintering bald eagles, and Milam Bottoms is the largest documented night roost in the lower 48 states, with some winters 600 to 800 birds a night using the site. It's unprecedented. The disturbance caused by the proposed development here will definitely have an extremely detrimental impact on this night roost and will certainly result in fewer eagles wintering and surviving in the Quad City area. These are undeniable facts. The city and the developers claim they can mitigate impacts to the night roost. Their ideas, however, are not facts. They're simply the opinions of people who have zero knowledge, understanding, or experience working with eagles. Unfortunately, their opinions are absolutely wrong, and we know they're wrong because Bally's Casino has implemented some of these mitigations, and yet we did the research where we still documented a significant shift of eagles away from the optimal high use area downstream to less optimal areas once the casino opened. So we know these mitigations do not work. Keep that in mind, Miles. They do not work. Now, I do believe everyone in this room cares about eagles. I really do believe that. Those of us who are here tonight and have gathered in enormous numbers over the last 2 weeks, or last 2 meetings, we appreciate eagles that night roost in Milam Bottoms, that depend on that site for survival. On the other hand, the folks sitting here representing the city and the developers, the only eagles they care about are the eagles on the backs of dollar bills, and that's an undeniable fact. So let's now discuss the woefully inadequate environmental assessment. In a word, that document is a joke. Within this 34-page document, they never mention the word bald eagles once, nor do they mention any of the known or suspected T&E species. Yet this is the document that the city has constantly referred to when they claim they've done their due diligence as far as it regards environmental impacts. How utterly pathetic and dishonest are you folks willing to be to the public? It seems to know no bounds. This entire assessment is based on a desktop exercise relying on outdated and inaccurate databases. No on-site surveys or site visits were ever conducted, and the DNR's own environmental disclaimer states, and I quote, "This review should not be regarded as a substitute for site surveys or field surveys, which are absolutely required for environmental assessments." Now, in regards to increasing recreational activities and public access on the remaining 530 plus acres, Milam Bottoms is the closest thing to wilderness that we have in the Quad Cities vicinity. Recreational activities such as bike paths, boardwalks, canoe and kayak rentals will expose a much greater portion of the bottoms to disturbance, and unfortunately, many of the sensitive species which make this place so special cannot and will not tolerate elevated levels of human activity and disturbance, even if it is recreational. These activities will certainly have a negative impact on the biodiversity in Milam Bottoms. The other issue, of course, with increased recreational development is who takes responsibility for operation and management. This area typically floods significantly every year, sometimes multiple times a year. Who's going to pay for and physically do the work of constantly cleaning flood debris from the bike paths and boardwalks? Who's going to pay to repair the damage to these structures that will inevitably result from flood events? And who will be legally liable when people get injured on those damaged bike paths and boardwalks? The most sensible, least expensive, and environmentally compatible option for these acres is just leave them alone. Let Milan Bottoms remain a wild place for wildlife. In closing, once this unprecedented night roost and the wildness of Milan Bottoms are gone forever, there will be only 14 people who are wholly responsible and to blame for this ecological tragedy. The developers, Matt Stern and Jeff Eubanks, who haven't even had the guts to show up to one of these meetings.
30 seconds.
Mike Tomes, you 7 city alderman people who constantly vote to continue this disastrous project, as well as Todd Thompson, Miles Brainerd, Tom Flaherty, and Tanner Osing. You will be the 14 people to blame for this. Communities up and down the Mississippi River celebrate one of the great riverine ecosystems on Earth with ingenious and profitable ways. Rock Island chooses to celebrate this natural wonder with a truck stop, boardwalk, and bike paths.
It's time.
All you need to complete your
Your time is
Sin
up.
City
Kelly, your time is up.
is a liquor store, a strip club, and an adult bookstore. You can do better than this.
Brian?
Good evening. My name is Brian Ritter. I live in Davenport, Iowa. I've been to several of these meetings in the past as well, and I've expressed my concerns, but I'll express them once again tonight. I fully understand the need to keep a thriving and vital tax base, and we are generally not opposed to smart development when and where that makes sense. And I am not opposed to the smart use of tax increment financing, or TIF, when used for its intended purpose, and that is to encourage economic development in blighted areas. However, from the eyes of an ecologist, the Milan Bottoms is not blighted. It is a thriving natural treasure that supports hundreds, if not thousands, of plant and animal species. Constructing a truck stop in this special place will not only be detrimental to these species, but is also an unwise use of and abuse of the TIF philosophy. In addition, recent climate modeling suggests that as early as 2050, just 25 years from now, the proposed development site has the potential to be inundated with 2 to 4 feet of water during major flood events. How will you keep diesel and gasoline from entering these wetlands and the Mississippi River during these flood events? How will you keep fuels from trickling into these wetlands during non-flood events, heavy rains, etc.? How will and where will endangered species like Blanding's turtles go to nest? How will you keep the water from entering the truck stop and the dispensary? Tonight I've heard a variety of myths, misinformation, and misunderstanding. As Kelly McKay pointed out, the fact is, a comprehensive 6-year study funded by the United States Army Corps of Engineers documented as many as 800 bald eagles per night using the Milan Bottoms immediately adjacent to the proposed development site. If you have legitimate scientific data that contradicts the significance of the Milan Bottoms and its importance as the largest documented communal night roost in the lower 48 states, we would like to see it. The eagles, the turtles, and your residents deserve it. Thank you.
Jared Logan?
Good evening. My name is Jared Logan. I'm not a biologist, ecologist, herpetologist, hydrologist. I'm not any kind of ologist. You've heard from plenty of those, and I'm sure you'll hear from plenty more. Instead, I'm an attorney, I'm a friend, I'm a concerned citizen, and most recently a father. And it is my understanding that tonight you are considering putting up fences around the Mile and Bottom project site area. As you've heard, one of the 31 endangered species in Mile and Bottom is the Blandings turtle. There is evidence that they lay their eggs at the Mile and Bottom development site in the spring. This is every year, and this year is no exception. And today, HANS and NTI ask that you and their cronies ask that you approve putting up the fences of this vital habitat. If approved, NTI and its Fat Cat partners will have started their degradation of the wetlands without even laying a single brick. This is how Hannah and Nature's Treatment treats nature. Do not aid in their scheme. When deciding on whether to build these fences and approve this project, ask yourself, who is this really meant to benefit? Is it meant to benefit the city or some weed dealers? Is it meant to benefit Matt Stern, Jeff Eubanks, NTI, Hannah Illawa, Mike Tomes, a gas station owner, maybe a few contractors even? Because it won't benefit you, it won't benefit your kids, it won't benefit anyone sitting behind me, and it certainly won't benefit the people of Rock Island or the future generations. And most of all, it's not going to benefit the pollinators, mussels, bald eagles, red-shouldered hawks, and not least the Blanding turtles who call the Mile and Bottoms homes. You know, why do we put up the fences? We put up fences to keep something in or out. They want to put up the fences because they're scared of the people and they're afraid of the people behind me. It is callous and it is cowardly. Why help Hannah build a fence over property they don't own? A fence over property they lack the permits to develop. It's because they're afraid of each of the people. NTI is afraid of the people. Some members of the council are afraid of the people. And it's because each of you are doing your part, because you were here and you were speaking up. And you are allowing your voices to be heard. Today, by voting to erect these fences, the city will be complicit in the unlawful taking of the Blanding turtle and potentially numerous other endangered species. Tragically, they are also unlawfully taking the ability of our children and future generations to enjoy and learn from these wetlands. Instead, they're helping NTI, Hannah Illawa, and God knows who else move forward with their reckless, half-baked, disastrous plan. By voting to fence in this area before the proper studies, permits, and consultations have taken place, before going through the proper channels, this city is telling both NTI and you, the people of Rock Island, something very important. They're telling you that NTI's short-term profits are worth more than you. They're telling you that NTI's short-term profits are worth more than the pristine wetlands that are here. The day before he was gunned down in Memphis, MLK said that when people get caught up with which is right, and they are willing to sacrifice for it, there is no stopping point for victory. Here, victory is saving the Mile and Bottoms, and there is no stopping. And we will continue to make moves. We will continue to surely make sacrifices on our road to victory, but we will undoubtedly make NTI sacrifice as well, as will we make its lackeys in the city council who have already sacrificed and will continue to sacrifice. I call on the people to boycott NTI. They put profit over people and the land. Profit is the only language they know, and buying from NTI is supporting habitat destruction. Besides, I hear Terrace has better deals and a better selection anyway.
You have 30 seconds left, sir.
Tell NTI we won't support them or their products. If this fence goes up, let's make sure their profits go down. Today NTI shows they're not serious about wetland protections at the Mile and Bottoms. And voting in favor of this fence will show the council is only serious about protecting NTI and Hannah's bottom line. If you vote to build this fence, then I say it's time to redistribute the pain. Hit them everywhere it hurts. Without their profit, there is no project and there is no tax dollars.
Your time is up, sir.
The power is in our hands. Don't be complicit.
Jody. All right, Jody Zimmerman. And then we have time for just this one And then everybody else will have to wait till the end of the council meeting.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. That's a lot of pressure. All right, hi, Jody Zimmerman, teacher for 40 years, and I lived in Moline, and I will be moving to Milan. Sorry, things are in a mix. I don't know what address to give you. But as a teacher, I recognize a teachable moment. I was talking about light pollution a lot. I think we need to go back and talk about egoism versus species-centric behavior. Anyone else egotistic? You look at your own jobs first, your own life. We all do that. There's no harm in that. But then we need to go past that and look beyond us. And what I'm hearing a lot is species-centric behavior. The friend of the mayor saying there's only 7 animals, and just dismissing them. Or people that say, but no one's using the land. Oh, they are. We just don't see them because our species isn't currently using the land. Trust me, it's very, very busy. It's doing a lot of things for us. Any of us gray-haired, we remember we didn't know, we knew about DNA, we're not that old, but we didn't know about the epigenome, and we didn't know what the microbiome. What else out there about the spinal bottoms do we not know yet? If we destroy it, we'll never know. We have to look beyond our own species and not just value what we want in the moment for our own humans. I've had so many people say, but there's nothing there. Oh, again, look deeply. There are several locations for your truck stop and a dispensary, only one of the irreparable bottoms. There's only one. And nature made, God made, whoever you want to say made it. It is there, and if you undo it, E.O. Wilson fans, anyone? Edward O. Wilson, yeah, once it's done, it's done. You can't. That's another thing, the mycelium. They know that all of the trees talk to each other using, right? We know that now. We didn't know it back then. So allow us to be humble enough to go, hey, we don't know everything. And let's not put just our species ahead of everyone else, everything else on this beautiful planet we share with them. Thank you for your time. Please do the right thing.
Okay, we're going to continue with the council meeting at this point. The next one is item 7, which is update Rock Island. Do you have old medicine sitting around? National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is coming up Saturday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with easy drop-off locations in Rock Island County available for safe disposal of unused or unneeded prescription pills. Drop-off locations will locate at the Rock Island County Justice Center, Moline Police Department, East Moline Police Department, Silvis Police Department, and the Milan Police Department. Learn more about the West End revitalization. Stop by the MLK Center on Tuesday, April 29th to hear an update on West End revitalization progress. An open house will be held from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Staff will be sharing upcoming plans and ways the public can get involved in transforming the heart of our community. The open house is free and open to all. Calling all artists. Thank you to a recent $5,000 grant award from the Quad City Arts Dollar Program. The Rock Island Public Library is issuing a call to local artists to exhibit two-dimensional artwork in 3 shows this year at the Watts Midtown Branch, 2715 30th Street. The grant-funded project also includes a $300 stipend for each artist selected for a show. Large works of original concept and design created within the last 5 years are preferred. For more information, go to rockislandlibrary.org. To apply, the artist should email the library's artist curator, David Zahn, at dzahnkoi@yahoo.com by May 15th. Thank you for that. All right, item number 8.
A report from administration regarding an ordinance implementing a municipal grocery retailer's occupational tax, municipal grocery service occupational tax for the city of Rock Island. First reading.
Move to consider the ordinance.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to say this is not a new tax. We currently have this tax here. The state is repealing it, and we, like the majority of the other cities in the area, are planning to keep this for the 1% that will come back to the city of Rock Island. So it's not an additional tax, it's just a continuation of what we currently have.
Okay, yeah, just got-
Todd, can you explain where this $1 million goes? Is it the general fund?
Yeah, correct, yes. It's into the general fund, which supports your typical public services, police, fire, public works.
I do not plan on supporting this tax. I believe that at a time in which the city is exploring obviously a very unpopular development due to wanting more revenue, it sends mixed signals that also we're going to tax your groceries too. I think this is an extremely regressive tax. This is taxing groceries. Every single human being needs groceries. I do not plan on supporting it. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Robinson.
No.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
No.
Pulis. Aye. Healy.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 8B.
Report from administration regarding amendments to Chapter 3 Alcoholic Liquor of the Rock Island Code of Ordinances, first reading.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Go ahead. Motion to consider the amendments to the ordinance.
Okay. Then move to second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of the denial of license. I don't think that needs to fall up under come back to council. There should be a separation of that task. Before, we had a liquor commission who's seen and had those discussions. Bringing that back to council, I think that's just going to create some issues. That's a powerful position, and I don't think that should sit in the hands of council at this point. If this is the case, then we need to reinstitute the actual liquor commission so they can see and hear those discussions.
The Liquor Commission did not hear them either. It was an advisory board, and they did not have any part of approving or denying a liquor license in the past.
It's my understanding that this is being recommended to basically allow like an appeals process.
Correct.
Right, we don't currently have an appeals process.
Correct.
When the liquor commissioner, the mayor, denies an applicant a liquor license. Would having the appeals process go to the liquor commission as opposed to the city council meet the needs of an appeal process?
Yes, that's correct. So currently it's up to the liquor commissioner, which is the mayor, whether to grant or deny a license. If the liquor commissioner denies the license under the current ordinance, it goes back to the liquor commissioner to consider all of the relevant factors. So you don't really have a separate body looking at the factors. Of course, there's still the appeals process where you appeal to the state liquor commission, but we want to make sure that we get it right the first time around on the first level. Just another set of overview to make sure that all the factors are being considered, whether or not when we are denying someone's ability to get a liquor license.
I didn't understand the answer. So
yes.
If we were to have the liquor commission do this instead of the city council, would that meet the needs of having an appeals process?
So that is what we currently have, is it's in front of the liquor commissioner, which is the mayor, again, but it's the same person. So it's as if I deny your license and then I hear your appeal. There's not a separate person hearing the appeal. It's just me again. So you don't have the opportunity to present your case in front of another body. It's the same person.
So what you're saying is that having it go to the liquor commission with an appeal would not meet the standards of an appeal process?
It meets the standard for the state liquor commission in terms of they're looking at the record, because we have to place everything on the record. But again, it's in front of the same person that has already denied it. So it's not providing an abundant appeals process to make sure that the city is looking at all of the factors when we're going to be denying someone the ability to get a liquor license. So it's going to open us up for more appeals at the state level, where we likely would have gotten it wrong. We could have denied a license to someone that could have had a license for that year or so while the appeal has been pending.
Moses, what do you think about that answer? I mean, you're asking for it to go to the commission instead of the city council, but it sounds like that's the current process.
I think the issue is that we currently don't have the commission anymore. We have a commissioner, but we don't have the commission. So we need to reestablish the commission so it can go to the commission.
So just to clarify, the commission was an advisory board, so technically the commissioner still had the ultimate say, working with the mayor over the last 4 years very closely, and having gone through all of these appeals. It's very hard to get a court reporter, an administrative hearing person, and members of a commission that are just an advisory role all in one location. It would go months on end before we could even schedule a hearing for an appeal, so in terms of due process, but that's how it was before, and that's why it got changed, because it didn't work.
Did we not have a couple of instances with lawsuits because of the Liquor Commission? Because it was not a body.
I think that was here because we were kind of stepping outside of our bounds, where when the individuals were coming here to get waivers on signatures, we were taking it a little bit further.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you. What we did have that confusion, there's no doubt about signatures.
Right.
But there was also times that when there was a disciplinary action and we went in front of the commission, not the commissioner, that there was issues there when it went to the state that still of confusion and or potential liability.
So if we establish a commission, we need to grant them the authority to hear appeals, correct?
And make the decision not be advisory.
Okay.
So I think that would take a lot away from the mayor in that aspect. Would I be correct? Then you would not have the mayor actually making that decision. You have a total commission.
But I think it's like the police and fire commission. You have a separate entity that does the hiring and firing of, not hiring and firing, but hiring of police officers. Right. I think this will follow that same suit.
This is only for the appeals. So the liquor commissioner would still be able to deny the license, but if you wanted to appeal that, it would go to, in this proposal, the city council.
You would also have, not that, once again, I'm not opposed to what you're saying, but the same token, not that it's totally, I'm making the vote, but the mayor is the one that recommends the people to be on that board also.
Exactly. I guess what I'm trying to eliminate is just having that cloud. The optics just doesn't look well if it comes back to city council. I think that's giving too much power to council at that point. I think it needs to be independent. If you have the mayor who sits as a commissioner and then you have citizens who sit as the commission, there is two separate parties there. It's not all city council.
So just to be clear, it would be similar to our Planning and Zoning Commission where they hear, special use permits, that sort of thing, and then if it's denied there, they still are able to come to city council and make their plea to city council for that to be granted. So it's similar to that and how we utilize that commission. You're in front of a commission or a commissioner, you state your case, but if it's denied, you're still able to go to the representatives of the city, the elected representatives of the city, to make your case.
Good point.
I guess
I'm just raising my concern.
It comes back to city council for those also.
I guess I would have I go in front of you, mayor, and you deny my liquor license. I got to come right back in front of you for my appeal. Yeah. I would kind of have a hard time with that.
Absolutely.
And that's just my opinion. And I'm not saying however this looks is the absolute right way. I would have a hard time walking in front of someone and saying that. I already know what you did. Why am I even here?
But if we keep it as this is proposed, you're not going to be able to vote on it, correct? Because you actually own a liquor license.
I do not have a liquor license.
Oh, you do not? Okay.
I cannot.
I thought you were exempt.
As an elected official, I cannot hold a liquor license.
I would like to make a motion to consider the three sections. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what to call these things. The three sections as separate agenda items.
We have a motion. Is there a second for that to consider?
I'll second it.
Okay.
And there's no discussion on that because
Nope.
that's an amendment. So then we just take a vote on that.
Alderperson Robinson
On
the amendment.
On the first one.
Separating.
And separating it into three.
Aye.
Hurt. Aye. Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Okay. So we split it now. We don't do that now. That would come back the next council meeting, or do we do that now?
We're doing it.
Do it now, okay, that's fine.
So
That's
I'm
fine.
going to take the first section. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, and I was just going to be clear, technically an amendment can be debatable, just for the record.
Oh, I thought it could not, I
It's a
apologize.
table, motion to table.
We're
It
okay.
can be, but amendments are always
Ah.
debatable, but sounds like everyone's on the same page, so we'll keep moving forward.
Thank you.
So the first to consider the ordinance, first reading, is section 3.3 liquor control. And that was to allow for the mayor pro tem to act as deputy local liquor commissioner during a temporary absence or disability of the mayor or as directed by the mayor, maybe meaning the mayor has discretion in his absence to allow the mayor pro tem. So I need a first and a second for that one.
Second.
Move to second, any discussion on that? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis. And Healy.
Aye.
Okay. Section 3-73, denial of license. Upon any denial or issuance or renewal, the licensee or applicant may request an administrative hearing before City Council to review such a decision. This provides for checks and balances and allows another body to hear an appeal. I'm just reading directly from the agenda.
Move to second, any discussion? We really had a lot of it just now, but any other? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Nay.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Yes.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis. And Healy.
Aye.
Motion carries. Section 3-12C, exemptions to limits, remove the commissioner and mayor and replace with the city council. The city council may at their discretion grant the creation of additional licenses in a class with a restriction on the size that has already been met. If it is found that the creation of such a license is necessary for the public convenience of the residents and is in the city's best interest. In deciding whether to issue a license under this exception, the city council shall consider a non-exhaustive list of factors.
So moved.
Second.
Move to second, any discussion?
Yeah, can I get some clarification on this? So, on the second paragraph, it says grant the creation of additional license, which I take it to mean if there's already a limit, the council can say, let's add an additional license, which is a policy decision which should come before the council, and then the mayor as a liquor commissioner could grant a license with that additional license. However, the last paragraph says, in deciding whether to issue a license under this exemption, which tells me that the city council is issuing a license and not the mayor and liquor commissioner.
Do you want me to take it? Go ahead.
Yeah, so currently under our ordinance, we have caps on certain licenses. This was enacted the last time we overhauled our liquor ordinance last year. The caps on those licenses primarily relate to liquor stores, gas stations, and your typical bars. So right now, the mayor has the discretion of granting a license above that cap if they consider it's several lists of factors, but it basically boils down to is in the best interest of the city. But the limits themselves are codified into our ordinance. So under this change, it basically goes back to council whether or not we want to increase that cap to allow for the issuance of an additional license. Several cities have these caps on licenses. Most of the time, they do go before council when they're wanting to either increase or decrease that cap because it is codified and it is part of an ordinance.
So yeah, my question is who is actually issuing the license? Because the last paragraph said issue a license, which is different than granting the creation of additional license.
Yeah, so again, yes, that's a little confusing. So council's prerogative when they hear someone's wanting to come in and increase that cap is whether or not they think we should increase that cap to allow for the possibility of initial license. It is still the liquor commissioner's obligation and duty and prerogative whether or not to grant a license. And there's several factors they have to consider under state law as to whether or not they can grant or deny a license. So the ability to grant or deny is still with the mayor, but it's increasing the cap, whether or not to allow that to even take place is in front of the council, if that makes sense.
I get that 100%. What I don't get is, well, just as I said, it said grant the creation of additional license or issue a license. Issuing a license is you give someone a license. Granting an extension means we can do one more license. I'm just confused about the language, but if you say the liquor commissioner still does it, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, the power of the liquor commissioner has not been decreased in terms of his ability to create and grant licenses.
And just to clarify, this is only for 3 classes. This is Class E, tavern, and then Class A and B, which is liquor store, and then convenience store with package sales. So it's only those 3 that would need either an increase or if a decrease, so.
And we are currently at our cap on all of those?
Mayor just granted one that's over our cap. So we are now at 19. We will see if any fall off. I have all the liquor applications out for April, so we are currently over our cap for all of them, actually.
So the mayor just did this, and we're now saying that the next mayor should not be able to do this. I think at best this doesn't look good, and I would move to amend this section to not go into effect until 4 years from now. We can have a policy discussion about whether it changes, but not have it contingent on who's sitting in that seat. And I think the way to do that is to delay implementation of this by 4 years, so that doesn't look like we're picking one mayor over the other.
So we have a first for an amendment. We need a second for Dylan's amendment. Yes, so he just brought us amendment. We need a second.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second for the 4-year amendment.
Is there any discussion on this?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. If we don't want to do this now, let's just not do it, and then we wait 4 years, and that council and mayor and that administration can decide at that point. Why should we decide something that's going to happen 4 years from now?
Yep.
I'm trying to find a compromise. I'm going to vote no, but I'm trying to find a compromise. I'd be willing to work. If this is a policy decision that we want to move forward on and for reasons that aligns with other communities or whatever, okay, I'll support that. But by delaying implementation, it doesn't make it a matter of who's the mayor. It's for the next election, people can know that the mayor now no longer has this power. It delays it. Otherwise, I mean, it's a compromise, basically, is what I'm getting at. Otherwise, I'm voting no.
I don't want any more liquor stores in this city. I mean, ultimately, I don't care who sits in that chair. I just don't want this to be a liquor and vape town. Yep. That's all I really honestly care about. And how does that look? So how can we get to that?
Any other discussion? Okay, take a roll call on the amendment on the table.
Alderperson Robinson,
So we're voting on what?
the 4 years.
Okay,
Yep.
I got to get it straight.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's why we're here to help.
Before we vote, I mean, why not just wait for a month when there's 2 new councilmen sitting up here and we make this kind of decision?
So we just need to table it.
I would table this one for
I agree.
60 days or whatever would be appropriate legal-wise.
Okay, hang on, we got one amendment on the table. Now we.
Okay. So a motion to table takes precedent over any motion to
Okay.
amend.
Thank you.
And there's no discussion.
Correct.
And we're going to table to a date certain?
I'm not going to be here, so why doesn't someone else decide?
So does that mean you're not making a motion to table?
Oh, I will make a motion to table, but an exact date, I'm not going to be here, so you guys figure out what date works best for you. I'll do whatever date you tell me to do in my motion. How about that?
Second meeting in June? September?
No, you can do it.
We need to go that far.
How about June?
Start out with, the transition takes place, that's fine. The May 12th is when the transition, so it'd be after that at any time.
So it'd be like the May 19th meeting. If
you want to do it the
table was
first
60
one,
days.
if you want to do it the first one, now if you want to wait even longer, that's fine.
Okay, motion to table till the first meeting in July.
Okay, there you go. Is there a second on that?
Second.
All right.
And I know we can't discuss, but this is to table my amendment or to table the section 3-12?
Table that section.
Yes. Table this section.
And that supersedes all the other motions on the table.
Yes.
No.
The table takes priority over a motion to amend.
All right.
Motion to table until the first July meeting. Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Okay, that carries.
Item 8C. Item 8C. Okay.
Sorry, it's a little slow. There we go. Report from the city attorney regarding amendment to Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-40, Conduct at Council Meetings by repealing said section in its entirety and replacing it with a new section entitled Public Participation, first reading.
I would like to make a motion to amend the ordinance to remove item 3, because I think people should be allowed to cheer, clap. I think booing's rude, but we can allow booing. Because I don't think we need to stifle people, so I would like to motion to amend the ordinance, consider, suspend the rules, and pass the amended ordinance.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this?
I would like to make a quick comment. So I know that anyone that's reading this thinking that, you know, we're going to this 5 to 3. Is this the one we're talking about, the 5? Okay.
Yep.
But we did reach out, and the 3 is the normal across all of our neighboring cities. Everyone else is at 3. Moline, East Moline, the county's at 3. So we're kind of staying on board with what everybody else is doing locally here. So just wanted to bring that up so there's known that we're not doing something that's no one else is doing.
I have no problem with the city of Rock Island being a leader in the First Amendment.
So there's an amendment.
Gotta let him do this thing here.
I'm waiting for a second. Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
I seconded.
Oh, it's already been seconded.
Okay, sweet. Okay, Hurt.
And then I also want to point out, because it was brought up that we have had unlimited time for public comment. We have never had unlimited time for comment. It's always been 30 minutes. However, it is at the discretion of who is leading the meeting on if they want to go over that time. And in the 6 years I have been on council, we, other than today, have never stopped at 30 minutes. We have always allowed people to talk longer, which is why it may have appeared that it was unlimited, but it has always been a 30-minute cap. It's always been that way. It's always been 30. It's up to the discretion. So the new mayor can let public comment go on for 18 hours if he wishes.
Okay. There's a motion, so I need a roll call, please.
I don't know that we're done discussing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were done. All right, go ahead, Randy.
Here I go. I
No,
make a
I'm
motion to
sorry, I
table
thought we
till
were
the,
done.
I make a
apologize.
motion to table till the, what did I say, the first meeting in July the last time? First meeting in July.
It's been moved, and because it's tabled, moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Nay.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Nay.
Parker. Poulos. Healy. Okay, the amendment carries.
Table carries.
Table, I'm sorry, the table, not the amendment.
Okay. Item, see if I got a 8D, please.
Report from the city clerk's office regarding an ordinance repealing Chapter 8, Article 12A, horse-drawn carriages and vehicles in its entirety, first reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Will this impact the Hauberg Estates Winter and Bloom event where they bring in horse-drawn carriages?
I cannot speak until somebody turns off their mic, guys. If we're not speaking, sorry, I have to be able to, there we go, sorry. It will not, because we're gonna build it into our event permit.
Like
So-
city-owned properties can do it automatically?
Right, or that they're gonna check if they're gonna have it, so we're at least aware of it. So like if you wanna have an event and you're gonna have a horse-drawn carriage and vehicle, you're gonna check that on your event application, just like you would sound amplification, street closing and all of
Okay,
that.
we're just not
So-
gonna regulate it anymore.
Correct.
Okay.
We still wanna know about it, but we're not gonna regulate it.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 8E.
Report from Community Development Department regarding an ordinance establishing a public hearing date for the proposed amendments to the existing Parkway I-280 Casino Tax Increment Financing, or TIF, redevelopment plan in project area. First reading.
Move to consider the ordinance.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Could I, wait, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
Miles, or maybe Leslie, there has been questions from the public regarding the legal permissiveness of using TIF funds for conservation work. This evening we heard about how this TIF program is supposed to be used for blight improvement. Can I get one of you to speak on the TIF statutes allowing us to use TIF funds for conservation work in the Milan Bottoms? Come on, Miles.
I was going to say, city attorney, which one of us? Yes, it is permissible.
Is it in the, it's my understanding that the statute has like a list of things that you can use TIF funds for.
Correct.
And wetland conservation is listed in that?
Wetlands can be included in TIF districts, and improvements can be made in those under other categories of use, yes. The list does not and could not include the thousands of different possible activities that one can use TIF funds for, but it is that particular proposed set of activities would be allowable under the law under that list.
Have we done research in other communities that have used TIF funds for work like this?
It would be uncommon, but not unheard of, for TIF funds to be used for park improvements and similar types of activities.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweed.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos. Aye. And Healy.
Aye.
Item 8F through, what is it? I gotta make sure the right page is here. What is it through W? Nope, through V.
So F through V, I can read them all in their entirety, or if council so wishes.
Motion to approve the sale, authorize the city manager to execute the agreements and consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion?
Why we got so many all at once?
Just because there's no other reason except a lot of people have come to us around the same time to purchase the vacant lots.
Good
So
job.
I don't know exactly why they've all come at the same time, but I'm happy that they have.
All right. All right, ready?
Nope.
Roll call. Oh,
hang
I'm
on.
sorry. Go
Hang on.
ahead.
Miles, can you tell me in the past 6 months how many city properties we've sold approximately?
Ooh, I'm not sure of the exact number, Alderman Tweet. It would be probably approaching a couple dozen. It's sped up since the council approved that different pricing schedule, and also since we have had an in-house attorney. So two things have occurred. We are able to sell lots to the adjacent homeowner for $1, which of course has then opened that up to a lot of folks who may not have been able to afford it in the past. Also, we've reduced the closing costs to basically just the $60 recording fee, where before it might have been an additional $800 or $900 of closing costs. So it's become much more affordable. So a lot of the purchasers you'll see are folks who are buying a vacant lot near their house, either right next to it or down the block. Some of these folks have actually been maintaining these lots, mowing them more frequently than, say, the city would. So that's the main driver, I think, is the reduction in the cost.
All right, thanks. I echo Alderman Parker. Good job on this.
I know this is a very good thing. I purchased, before I was an alderman, 2 properties just because honestly, the city didn't do a good enough job mowing them. So I purchased them to mow them, so it didn't look like crap around my house. So
There's more out there if you want them.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweed.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos. And Healy.
Aye.
Item 8W.
Report from the Finance Department proposing an ordinance adding a new Section 2-161 collection fees and costs to Article 5, Division 1, Finance generally of the Municipal Code for the City of Rock Island, Illinois. First reading.
Motion to consider the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
I'm very hesitant about this, other than it being, getting more money for this collections agency. I mean, what's the benefit that the city gets by passing this ordinance?
Yeah, passing this ordinance allows the city to get more money. Currently, we would pay the fee out of whatever our fine was. Jessica, she can provide clarification, she's in the back.
I know, just being on the Curliff committee, that we were looking at nothing was collected for a extreme amount of time. So we did not have a collections company to go after that money. I think when I first got on the Curliff committee, I looked, and there were 20, I believe it was 27 loans that had not made a payment. So the amount of debt we had to write off, in the Curliff committee, we went through and tried to get a collections company so we could actually go after the money. And I believe we have some coming in through this collection, through some of this now, or would.
Do a current collection agency right now? I'm sorry, it just came in from the other room.
Basically, a collections agency for the Curliff committee. So
That's what we're attempting to get with this company. Is they'll help us, they'll assist in helping the city collect on some of the Curliff loans, Municip's loans, and other types of billable items that the city has that are outstanding right now. The benefit to the city is that instead of paying a commission to the collection agency, the city will get 100% of the amount that we're owed back. The collection agency will only maintain the amount, that 30% amount, and then they will remit the rest of it to the city.
Right. So if I understand this correct, so first question, is this ordinance needed by the consultant if they're going to do business with us? Have they said, we're not going to work for you unless you have this ordinance?
No, they recommended that we adopt it so that way we can pass along the collection fee to the debtors. But no, we can still work with them. It's just another way for the city to retain 100% of that debt that we're owed.
Right, and so it's my understanding that currently the way this works is we pay the collection agency to go get the debt, and then they try to go get the debt. What this changes is basically instead of us paying them to go get this debt, they would push that fee onto the person that they're collecting the debt from.
Sort of. It's we pay a commission, so if we have $100 that we're owed, we pay them a commission to go get it, so we don't actually pay them anything. They just retain a portion of it for their commission.
But they get,
and it's on a tiered structure depending on how much the debt actually is. But yes, they will be pushing, instead of the debtor owing $100, now the debtor owes $130.
Right, and is this for things like water bills?
It could be. We would have to take a look at our ordinance. Right now, it's not anticipated unless we take a look at the ordinance. Right now, we're looking at Curliff loans, Municip's fines, outstanding parking fines, things of that nature.
I'm not necessarily opposed to Curliff loans or even parking tickets, but Municip's, you've got some senior resident of Rock Island who can't afford to keep their home up as it is, which is probably why they're getting fined by Municip's for building code violations. Now we're not only asking them to pay the fine to the city of Rock Island for not maintaining their property, but we're also asking them to pay the fine for the collections agency to go after them. I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, that's all my questions.
Okay.
I mean, wasn't one of your questions, why can't we do this without an ordinance? Why can't we just have an agreement that has this exact information, and what's the purpose of the ordinance?
No. My question
Okay, that's
my
my
question
question
was will this collections agency still work for the city and go after collections, just with the city paying for their work versus the debtors paying for their work?
Randy, do you have a?
So we can't have an agreement like this, it does need an ordinance, is that the?
The agreement's actually on the agenda tonight. If we just move forward with the agreement, I'm looking at the city attorney now to see if we might have to modify that. I don't know if this language is included in their agreement, but we don't need this ordinance in order to move forward with an agreement with this company.
But we need the ordinance if we're going to pass that on to the debtor.
I know. This agenda item is just saying that the fee for the debt collector to go out on behalf of the city and collect the debt will be paid by the debtor, not by the city. That's all that we're considering right here.
And it requires an ordinance, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, correct.
I just know on the Curliff Committee, this would have saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's correct.
As a city.
That's correct.
It was crazy, the amount of waste that we had, upwards of $700,000 that was never paid to this city, where if we had someone that could have, on a tiered structure, try to get that, I mean, that's $700,000 to this city.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
No.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Okay, item 9A.
Report from the Parks and Recreation Department and the City Clerk's Office regarding a highway resolution for the closure of First Avenue between 17th and 20th Streets on Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., along with a rain date of Friday, July 4th, 2025, for the annual Red, White, and Boom fireworks display and concert at Schwiebert Riverfront Park. And if postponed due to flooding, the event will be rescheduled to Saturday, September 27th, 2025, with a rain date of Sunday, September 28th, 2025.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item number 10.
Items A through U.
Is there a motion?
Move consent agenda items A through U.
Is there a second? Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm listening to something else. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 11A.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding payment to Langman Construction of Rock Island, Illinois for an emergency water main repair at 2100 6th Avenue in the amount of $10,400.34.
Motion to approve the claim.
Second.
Due to the nature of my employment, I need to recuse myself from this vote.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Poulos.
Aye.
And Parker, or excuse me, and Healy.
Aye.
Item 12A.
Report from administration regarding a right of entry agreement with A. Hana Ilwa LLC.
Motion to approve the agreement and authorize city manager to execute the contract document.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion?
Tom, can I ask why they asked for this?
Did the developer ask for this, or did city staff ask for this, or city council?
The developer has asked for this. This is going to be a construction site. We're going to have to protect the equipment out there.
Wait, say it again, Tom. Who asked for this?
The developer has requested this to secure the site. It's going to become a construction site. We can't have the public walking through a construction site.
Well, it's not going to become a construction site until U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Illinois DNR has been consulted. Is that correct?
There is preliminary maintenance that they will be taking out there.
So So just for clarification purposes, there isn't anything in the agreement that authorizes them to begin construction. It's discussing securing the site for due diligence activities.
No comments
Which is-
from the audience, please.
which is outlined as the comprehensive research and investigation process undertaken to assess the legal, financial, environmental, and physical aspects of the property. It may include environmental assessment, survey, and site inspection, assessing utilities and infrastructure, traffic or environmental impact studies, legal and regulatory compliance, and historical and archaeological review. There isn't anything in there regarding permitting construction.
Why does it need to be fenced off to do all of that? I'm sorry. I'd like to make an amendment to remove the fencing permission as part of the right of entry agreement.
So we need a second on the amendment.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We'll take a roll call on that.
Well, I mean, so is there any point in voting on the original request then? If securing the site is, and securing the site might be putting a gate over the road. I don't know what securing the site is. But,
Please, no comments.
Yeah, and we don't know. Nobody knows.
So-
That's what I'm trying to find out.
If you take out the fencing in terms of securing the site, so that's different than the second portion, which is giving them the legal right to enter the land to conduct those assessments and studies. So those are two separate things that the right of entry was granting the developer. So my understanding, the amendment on the table is to get rid of any portion as it relates to fencing and gating the property, but still allowing them the right to enter the property to conduct the surveys and environmental testing and studies that they need to do.
So city staff, what did they specifically ask for? Did they just want to enter the property and do their
Did they
surveys?
specifically ask for fencing, or did they ask for the right to enter the property and do assessments?
They've asked the ability to secure the site.
Does that mean fencing? Okay, so am I to understand that the developer has asked for fencing by way of asking for securing the site?
They've asked to secure the site. And I don't know how you secure a site without fencing.
Okay, thank you.
Or a gate.
So it sounds like we need to either have a deeper conversation with the developer to get a clear indication of what they're looking for going forward before we make this decision. That's my opinion on this right now.
If I could clarify a little bit, I think the intent would be to control access to the site, not fence off the entirety of it, for two reasons. One, they may have equipment out there that they don't want messed with. Another is if they are involved in borings or doing things related to like the cultural resources that they access the site for, they don't want anybody to be injured and have it be held responsible. I mean, it's really kind of a risk management.
Well, real quick, again, back to the original point, why are we, can I talk without someone
Please,
interrupting,
the audience, please be quiet, we'll have to remove.
So my point being is then, why do they have equipment on there just yet if this thing hasn't come to fruition? So, and I would, at this point, I think I would just retract my second on the amendment and then just do a vote on the original.
So if I'm understanding, you're removing your second
Wait a
on the
minute, not
amendment?
yet. Hang on, I'm going to finish answering that question. The equipment could be for boring. There could be, may not construction equipment, but equipment to do testing could be out there.
Part of the cultural resources, I think they had to plow some ground up, or anticipated they might have to plow some ground up, so they might have a tractor or something like that.
I understand, but you can put some sort of security out there. It doesn't have to be a fence. So there can be some Wi-Fi cameras if you are really worried about that. I mean, there's other methods other than gating it off and fencing it off. That's my take.
I think it's just a normal practice. I mean, I'm not a developer. I don't do these things, but I know when developments happen, That's typically what happens. They fence it off just to protect the area. So I'm not saying that they're going to have permission to go and start moving dirt, but as Todd is saying, if they're having their equipment on there, I think they're just using the fencing for security purposes. Again, I don't want to speak for the developer. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we need to get clarification from the developer. What's going to be on the site, what needs to be protected, and what extent do they need as far as fencing, or if it's a gate, something like that. So we're not just stabbing in the dark trying to figure out and put words into their mouth.
So I think since we haven't signed off on them with the purchase of that land yet, that why, I guess, is it really their land to secure at that point? I mean.
If I may, I'm not outside of the fencing. I just want to talk about real estate transactions and due diligence periods. Whenever you're talking about a big development, there's typically a due diligence period where a developer can go in and do site assessment to do the studies that they need to do. During that time period, they are granted access to the site to perform those functions. So the primary purpose of this agreement would allow the developer to access the site without trespassing across any property to do their due diligence studies that they need during the time frame that they're given. So again, it's to allow access. It's a right of entry. We're not saying right of ownership. We're not saying right to begin construction. It's just to access the site and to begin that due diligence period.
I think they can do that, though, without the fencing, though.
I think my only concern with that, if they are doing that without the fencing, they're going to run the risk of someone coming in while they're doing that.
That's right.
That's the only problem.
Well,
So to protect anyone that's in that area, if they need to do this study, then we need to make sure that they're protected under that.
This is very typical of any construction or development site. Very typical.
Has a archaeological assessment been performed for the Valley Homes location in my ward? Has a historical assessment of the Valley Homes location been performed in my ward?
No, there has not been.
Is there other examples of archaeological assessments having been taken place without fencing the location off? Do we fence off every single street that we bore for a resurfacing project?
No, we don't.
Right. If we're going to resurface a street, there's site assessments, there's boring that's done before that. We don't fence off the block that we're going to resurface. Contractors or engineers are able to get in there, do the thing, and get out. I don't understand the need for the fence, and that's why my amendment is that. Frank, I mean, where's the final site design for this project? I understand and I appreciate their willingness to take public feedback into consideration and to incorporate it into the design, but I think I'm not comfortable allowing them to fence off the property until they have even told us what the design is going to look like. They can't tell us how many gas pumps. They can't tell us, is it going to have a car wash? They can't tell us final what it's going to look like, and yet they've asked us to fence it off? I'm not comfortable with that. Randy, are you still withdrawing your second on my amendment? No. Okay.
So the amendment is, excuse me guys, sorry, I don't know if anybody can hear me. The amendment is to remove the fencing portion. Parker, first motion, Hertz second, Alderperson Robinson.
Okay, wait, hang on. I'm going to make a motion to table until the 28th meeting of April 28th so we can get some more information from the developer. Because we're making a decision for the developer here whether he needs fencing. I don't know if the developer needs fencing. I don't know if the developer is going to fence off a 40-foot area just to keep equipment in. We don't know anything about it. So if fencing is an issue, I think we should find out from the developer first before we start making some decisions.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Tweet made the first and Poulos made the second. Motion to table till the April 28th meeting. Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Table carries. 12B.
Item 12B.
Report from the Economic Development Department regarding a letter of intent to sell 2001 Fifth Avenue and 2016 Fifth Avenue between Fresh Films and the City of Rock Island.
Move to approve the letter of intent and direct staff to negotiate a development agreement.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 12C.
Report from the Economic Development Department regarding a letter of intent to purchase Lot 2 of the Solomon site between Central Credit Union and the City of Rock Island.
Motion to authorize city manager to sign a letter of intent and direct staff to negotiate the purchase agreement.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
It's a good project.
Exactly. I think this is probably one of the biggest things going on in First Ward right now. So, yeah.
Yep.
Good job, West End revitalization team.
Item 12. Oh, excuse me. Roll call. Apologize.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 12D.
Report from the Economic Development Department regarding a consultant services agreement with Planet Holly.
Move to approve the agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the documents.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Item 12E.
Report from the Economic Development Department regarding the 2025 Big Island Farm Lease.
Motion to approve the lease agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the document.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Item 12F.
Report from the the Economic Development Department regarding the 2025 Andalusia Road Farm Lease.
Motion to approve the lease agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the document.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Item 12G.
Report from the Finance Department regarding a 2-year collection services professional service agreement with Municipal Collections of America.
Move to approve the agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the document.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Item 12H.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding the extension of the levee and right-of-way vegetations control contract for 1 year in the amount of $18,800.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
And Healy.
Item 13A.
Report from the Community Development Department regarding the Regional Analysis of Fair Housing Choice Impediments Final Draft and the Regional Housing Needs Assessment Final Draft.
Motion to adopt the Regional Analysis of Fair Housing Choice Impediments Final Draft and the Regional Housing Needs Assessment Final Draft.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
Miles, do staff have a plan to address the impediments to fair choice housing found in the analysis?
It's a good question. Some of those things are actually touched on briefly in the following item, which is the Strategic Housing Development Plan. As with every analysis of impediments, there are a collection of different things that we could do that need to be considered individually for pros and cons. An example of something that you could do is to eliminate your zoning code, right? That could improve your options for housing, but there are downsides to doing it as well. Each time one of these is done, we kind of do a look through of all of those different impediments and make choices. Not all of those end up, any changes we make, not all of them come before council. Some of them are about changing some of our internal dynamics. So short answer is yes, we will review these as we have in the past. Where we think that there are reasonable changes that should be made, we will make them or recommend that changes be made for council action to be taken.
Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 13B.
Report from the Community Development Department regarding the adoption of the Rock Island Strategic Housing Plan.
Motion to adopt the plan.
Second.
Move in second. Any discussion?
Miles, broad strokes. Top 2 things you want to get done having been identified in this plan. What are we doing?
One of the primary things the plan does is identify priority sites for new housing development and suggests that investments be made in site readiness activities. There is obviously the remaining ARPA funds that have been set aside for housing activities. Staff will be looking at bringing forward some recommendations on site readiness analysis for those sites as a top action. The second thing is to begin implementing some of the kind of administrative short-term changes that are recommended by the plan. Most of these are to do with internal staff processes and how we do things sort of behind the scenes. Those are pretty easy lifts that we would start with right off the bat.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Did we do roll call? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Item 14A.
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from the Smoking Dog to close 2nd Avenue between 18th and 19th Streets for the annual Gamma Alpha Beta Fraternity Buckethead fundraiser benefiting Camp Keesum on Saturday, April 26, 2025 from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. and a request for the outdoor consumption of alcohol.
Move to approve the request subject to complying with all liquor license regulations and subject to being closed down early if complaints are received.
Second.
Move in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 14B.
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from Gary Barron to close 6th Avenue between 7th and 8th Streets on Saturday, July 26, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a block party.
Motion to approve the request is recommended.
Second.
Move in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
Aye.
Item 14C.
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from Alderperson Moses Robinson regarding a request to close 6th Avenue between 9th and 10th Streets on Saturday, April 19th, 2025 from 12 p.m. until 6 p.m. for an Easter egg hunt.
Motion to approve the request is recommended.
Second.
Move in second. Any discussion?
I don't know, Moses. What are you going to do for me?
You're gonna have a lot of kids upset with you.
Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
And Healy.
15A.
We need a motion to close the meeting.
So moved. Second.
All right. We need a roll call for that, don't we?
Voice vote,
Oh,
please.
voice vote. It says roll call on there. Aye. Yep. Yeah. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Regular meeting's closed. Port authority's open. And other in business with that.
Yes, just wanted to report out that staff has received 3 proposals to our request for proposal for a master plan to the port. We have eliminated one, and we are checking the qualifications and references of the other 2.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? All right. I need 15C.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we're back into the regular meeting. Other business, new business. We'll get to public comment in a second. Does the city council have anything they wish to bring up? Comments?
I think I asked this before. Is there a reason why there's only four people can have their mics active at a time? Is that a setting that we created, or is that within the system?
The mics?
Yes.
It's within the system. I don't know if we can open up anymore. We'd have to ask Tim, but
okay.
Yeah, but
Tim Bain, you're on the spot.
But that's very typical. I know the county had that same issue. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Any other comments? Yes.
Do you guys remember when all of public comment was at the very end of the city
Yes,
council
it was.
meetings? Woo!
Yeah.
That's no fun.
I wouldn't say that. If you guys have ever been to a county meeting, oh boy, everything's been voted on before you can even talk. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
It is. All right, public comment. Oh, excuse me, Mark, I'm sorry.
Actually, this goes along with a former alderperson who contacted me and said that she could not be here, but wanted to comment on the issue that we've been discussing for a long time. This comes from former Alderwoman Beth Mallow, and I quote, "I hope we have enough wise people on our city council to know how important the development will be to Rock Island and its taxpayers. The potential for any new development on Rock Island is infrequent and rare. This particular development would add taxes to at least 5 of the city's tax enterprises, being property tax, sales tax, income tax, utility tax, and fuel tax. It would also add income through water usage. There would be additional employment to be had. If people are truly concerned about losing potential nesting space, perhaps a piece of the new income could be earmarked for redevelopment in wild space where we currently have boarded up derelict houses. I would ask people on 3 questions. 1, thinking back on the last really nice meal where you went out to eat, how many members of the audience had that meal in Rock Island? Hopefully quite a few. Of all the clothing that you are currently wearing, who among them purchased one of the items in Rock Island? The 3rd question is thinking back on the most recent car purchase that you made, how many people in that room made the car purchase in Rock Island? Chances are not many have done any of these. Pardon me, please.
Please. Everybody gets their fair opportunity.
I respected you. Please do the same for this while I finish reading this. Chances are that not many of them have done these things in our fair city. This means that we have seriously limited income potential other than the taxes in those of us who have chosen to live here. So let's share the tax burden with the gentleman who is interested in our city and sees the potential here that others are missing. And I'll close it with, by the way, end quote. I'll close this by, whether I agree or disagree with the comments made here, I thought it was important to at least honor the request from a former council person. The reason she could not be here is a medical issue with the family. So,
thank you.
Thank you for giving me that few moments.
Okay. All right.
Nope, I got one more thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It doesn't have anything to do with any of this other stuff. I just want to remind people that when you are, because it's an issue in my ward, when you are parking on the street, the sidewalks that go to the curb to the street are to be kept unblocked so people can access them. In certain streets in my ward, every sidewalk is blocked by a parked car. So if you park your car on the street, please be respectful of the people who live in that house and do not block their sidewalk. Just pretend it's a very short driveway. Because I've had numerous complaints about that, so I just want to publicly make people aware not to park in front of a sidewalk.
Okay. Anything else? All right. The next person up would be George. Is it Kraus or?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm George Kraus. It's been so long since I bothered you guys, I almost got lost walking over here. I'd like to voice my opposition to development in the Island Bottoms. I believe a quote from Jurassic Park, Dr. Malcolm, he said, "You spend so much time thinking about whether you could, you didn't stop to think whether you should." I feel like this applies here. I feel like you're putting the cart before the horse. Now, I recognize that the bald eagle is not protected anymore. It's the least concern classified. The only reason that it's the least concern is because of decades of aggressive advocacy and protections and mindfulness of the habitats and things that would affect the populations. And as of last year, it's a national bird. I can't think of anything that would be more un-American than disturbing the habitat of the bald eagle in a way that would be irreparable and cause significant harm to the populations. That being said, I'm not opposed to economic development. I just don't believe it's a place for it. Speaking of a dispensary, I live in a whole neighborhood of vacant buildings. I would love to see a dispensary in downtown Rock Island. One of the concerns that hasn't been brought up, and one of my main concerns, is the safety. If we're going to have a smoking lounge in a location adjacent to a highway, you're going to have people driving potentially intoxicated. And the effects of marijuana are different. So you might have someone driving 30 miles per hour on a road with trucks going 65 miles per hour. Someone's going to get killed. That's not safe. That's one of the reasons that I prefer the idea of it in downtown Rock Island, where there's abundant access to public transportation. I don't care if people get high. They can get stoned out of their minds. Good for them. But not in that way, not in that location. That's it.
Thank you. Justin Booker.
Good evening. My name is Justin Booker. I am currently residing in Davenport, but I was born and raised in Rock Island, and I do care very much about what goes on in this city. I grew up below the hill, a short walk from Black Hawk State Park, where I would spend much of my youth. Additionally, as a kid, I would often drive to visit my grandmother in Milan. And when crossing the Milan Bridge, particularly in the winter months, my parents and I would point out the bald eagles perched on the trees along the Rock River. I was always excited to see them, and in my 33 years, I have not stopped growing excited to see them. Between spending a large amount of time at Black Hawk State Park and marveling at the nature a short drive away from where I lived, I consider my upbringing in Rock Island foundational in developing a passion for the environment and its wildlife. I further developed a passion while participating in the Environmental Action Club at Rock Island High School and would later serve on the board of directors for Keep Rock Island Beautiful before leaving for college. Again, I care about the success of Rock Island and understand there are times when development is necessary, but when I caught wind of the TIF expansion plan, I could not believe how reckless and irresponsible this sounded. You are considering putting a truck stop next to a wetland. Awful, terrible idea. Thanks. Even a dispensary. You already have development at Sunset Marina. Relocate NTI down there. If your concern is allowing your residents to get high and go look at ducks, that's the perfect place for it. I did it as a teenager. So next, I do want to bring up this fencing that we were talking about. So this favor to allow Iowa, NTI, whoever this is, which allows them the right of entry, is an act of aggression to those concerned about the impact of this development. You are choosing to contain, via means of fencing, an area that many of us are assuring you is suitable nesting ground for turtles, including an endangered species that is protected by the state of Illinois. I was just out there filming. I found shell fragments. We have that documented. We know that is nesting ground for turtles. Every day, this planet loses critical habitat, and every day we lose species to extinction. These actions contribute to the madness of urban sprawl. Putting this fence up is a terrible idea. It is breeding season for turtles. In the months of May and June, they will be laying their eggs in a sandy loam soil. Where is that currently located in this TIF? But before we make the assumptions that you have already made your decision, I want to proceed with considering legacy. You have a fork in the road where the perception of your legacy wanders in two different directions. On one hand, you can preserve the bottoms and provide opportunity for the next generation of the endangered Blandings turtle to have healthy and safe nesting grounds for years to come. You can choose not to disturb the largest roost site in the lower 48 of the federally and state protected bald eagle so that they can return to that site for years to come. And you can choose to not inevitably allow the spillage of fuel that will leak into the adjacent wetland where it will poison sensitive wildlife such as mussels. You can even provide a safe haven for the whooping crane, one of the rarest birds in the world, so that their numbers can begin to climb upwards again. You can do this and allow future generations of wildlife and humans to benefit from this incredibly diverse biological community. That is true legacy. Or your legacy can be a truck stop. that wreaks havoc on this ecosystem and ultimately will not compare to the I-80 truck stop across the river and will not provide nearly as affordable of gas as the state of Iowa can provide. This development will be a disaster and threatens to diminish what can never be regained. That would be your legacy. Should we erect the truck stop, we should put a plaque with your names on it so we can all remember who was responsible for the environmental degradation of the Milan Bottoms. You have an opportunity to show the Quad Cities, show the state of Illinois, who, by the way, has offices watching, and the rest of the United States that Rock Island not only cares about today, but they care about tomorrow. Lastly, should you choose not to heed the advice of your constituents in this room in the 4,500 signatures on the Save the Milan Bottoms petition and vote to continue with this development, we will follow with the filing of an injunction. We will not allow you to mask degradation with the false perception of progress. Please consider...
You have 30 seconds left.
Please consider your legacy and keep your bottoms clean, Rock Island.
Tabitha DeVries.
Okay, I'm going to be as quick as possible because it's late. We're all tired. First of all, I want to say a sincere thank you to everybody. We saw how you voted. We saw those of you who wanted to stop things and take a moment to find more information out. I'd also like to thank Alderman Parker in particular because I've been seeing him trying to talk to us a little more. It's possible that others of you have been trying to communicate and explain to us, but it's mostly been him. So I just want to say thank you. We see who is trying to work with us and communicate. Good job. But I just want to say human beings, we're all very disconnected from nature, and the planet is what gives us everything. It gives us our food, it gives us our air, and it's very sad and depressing that we know so little about the thing that gives us our whole life. We see a dandelion growing out of the cracks of the concrete, and we say, nature's resilient, it can handle it. But the experts who actually understand nature are telling us that our ecosystem is delicate. Around here, we have very few vibrant, actually functioning ecosystems. We have nature that is fighting and damaged. That dandelion out of the concrete is a very depleted environment trying to claw its way back into being a functional ecosystem. But my point is that the experts they know what they're talking about. I think I'm going to skip everything else again because we're pretty tired. But I also want to mention that the Intertribal League of Native Americans is here, and they're going to talk about a different issue, and they've been waiting for hours and hours. So I hope everybody will listen to them and give them consideration for what they want to discuss. Thank you all so much for your time.
Lisa? Lisa, yeah. Alonzo?
What I'm going to speak on about Chief Blackhawk, I say with the utmost respect. Please allow me to make my statement, and then please follow up with your answer. Thank you. I'm from the Potawatomi and Kickapoo tribe. I'm here to represent. Please don't mistake our patience and kindness for ignorance. We have not forgotten about the Native American statue. It has been 2 years since the last time I was here and we discussed this. That's when the storm hit, 2 years ago. And you have yet to make a decision on what you're doing. I have 3 different cities that would love to have that statue, but our hands are tied because I don't know what your guys are waiting on. You're supposed to be the head person. You should be in charge of getting everybody else around you to either you guys do something with it or give it to us. You have not been in touch with us, nor have we heard a word about the statue. I don't understand what the problem is. Remember, this statue belongs to the people, not the political agenda. We're not on your political agenda. We are not asking you for any help in restoring this statue, and we want to move forward. We have tried to get in touch with the city and have not received a call, message, no kind of communication in 2 years. I'm really pointing the finger at the council for this lack of interest in helping us move forward. You're supposed to be the leaders of this community, but unfortunately, I have not experienced this. If this is about money, tell us what you want. The Native Americans are more invested and have deeper roots with this statue than the city of Rock Island. Can you please make a decision? It saddens me to know that 5 or 6 or this council holds the fate of that statue when it should belong to the Native Americans. But yet, again, it's political. Who was there to protect that statue after that storm? It was us. We set up a tent. There were scrappers coming around wanting to get their hands on it, and we almost fought them off so we could protect it. And then you guys come, oh yeah, we're going to put it in, we're going to figure out what. 2 years later, we're still in the same spot. So that tells me that the city of Rock Island is not invested in this statue. So please, give it to the Native Americans. The 2 years of silence tells us you're not invested. And how ironic that your emblem shows a Native American. If you don't want to answer my question right now on what you know or don't know, that's fine. But remember, we, the taxpayers, are paying you. So you owe us something. You owe us an answer. Either you're going to do something with it or give it to us or sell it to us. If that's what it boils down to is money, like I said, we have 3 different cities that are interested in helping us to restore it. But our hands are tied because you guys won't make a decision. So,
30 seconds, ma'am.
So, I don't know if you can answer me. Why has it been 2 years? What's going on? Why are we still sitting on this?
We cannot answer at this point. We're not doing the dialogue back and forth.
Okay, so how do I get an answer?
You call the city manager?
We have for the last 2 years, especially the last couple months. And we were playing phone tag. This is ridiculous. So how about we give you, well, no, you've got our number because we've left messages. So I don't get it.
Yeah, I've been in regular communication with Mr. Vallejo.
I've
been in regular communication with Mr. Vallejo over the last 2 years. We've been playing phone tag for about a week.
Yeah.
Can I speak? What I've asked of him is to submit a proposal for what he plans to do with it, and I've yet to receive a proposal.
It's a little hard. We've got, like I said, we have 3 cities. We have talked to the mayors, and they are very interested. But what can we do? We don't own it.
Okay.
You guys got you telling us.
So we can't be here all night going back and forth, and so that's fine. So the city manager has replied at this point, but once again, somebody can try to reach out to him again and work on the devils of the detail.
That's a joke.
Of what you planned on doing with it. You may think it's a joke, but that's the next step. So we need to move on.
Just remember, the citizens pay your guys' salary.
Jane Bryant?
Hello. My name is Jane Kettering Bryant, and I am a citizen of Rock Island City. I live on Big Island. I'm also a teacher in the Rock Island School District. My comments will be short. I am against the proposed development. I've been coming to the meetings, and that's why I'm here, even though I've been up since very early, as I'm sure many folks have been as well. In terms of the dispensary, my tagline, which I've shared with my aldermen, is if you build it, they will come. And what that means is if you can find a more suitable site, people will come to the dispensary. I know you can't do it on 11th Street. It was explained to me it's too close to a school. I suggest downtown. I suggest some other place. People will come to the dispensary wherever you build it. There's a high market for it. Number two, people get gas in Iowa. You only get gas in Illinois when your tank is running low. And that's just how it is. I think most people in Illinois understand that, whether that's fair or not. And so the chances of lots of traffic taking advantage of that are probably slender. They're going to gas up if they're coming this way or wait till they've crossed the bridge. My last point is I'd love the council to focus, and I'd be happy to contribute what I can on 11th Street development. I want to see a vibrant 11th Street. It hurts my heart to travel down 11th Street, and I know you all do too, but I think that's where energy needs to go, and I'm sure energy has been spent in that direction, but I'd like to see more energy. That is the Rock Island I'd like to see served. Last of all, in terms of the environment, if we destroy an ecosystem, it's irrevocable. You cannot undo what you've done. You simply cannot. It's done. That's it. Thank you very much.
Daniel Desane.
Good evening. Good evening, council. On December 24th, of 2024, President Joe Biden signed legislation officially designating...
Could you speak into the microphone a little closer, please?
Sure. On December 24th of 2024, President Joe Biden signed legislation officially designated the bald eagle as our country's national bird. In 1972, the Preserve Black Hawk Park Foundation was formed. My mother was part of that, to protect Black Hawk State's historic site from being sold to developers for commercial and private housing development. The foundation was instrumental in securing the future of the park for generations, and that our precious resource not be sold, traded, or given away so as to enhance the natural and ecological beauty that is Black Hawk State Historic Site. Future generations deserve to experience this gem we all know as Mylan Bottoms. So please think about how State Representative Ben Polk and the citizens of Rock Island at that time preserved our priceless gem that we enjoy today and forever. For 36 years, Bald Eagle Days has taken place in the Quad Cities. Bald Eagle Days is the largest event in the Midwest dedicated to our United States national bird and our symbol of freedom. Bald Eagle Days brings in millions of dollars to Rock Island and shows the world that Rock Island cares about nature and its natural symbol. But this could all change by endangering the eagle's home. Thousands of visitors come to Rock Island for this precious resource. Let's not squander it. Let's not kill our national bird. Also, this is from the Augustana Observer. The Mylan Bottoms is threatened. This is from March 20th, 2025. These are our young people, our best and brightest from this community. And they're saying no, no, we don't turn a blind eye to our future generations. Also, I've been going to Bald Eagle Days for decades. I dug this out of my drawer, but it's, as you can see, at the QCCA Expo Center, Bald Eagle Days. Everyone can see it? And we all go because we love it. We love to see the eagles. Let's not jeopardize the eagles for a dispensary, which, by the way, there are 230 now in the state of Illinois, and I'm not against that. But I think putting it in this location is a really bad idea, extremely bad. The potential for an environmental disaster, to degrade our national bird, the symbol of freedom in this country. I hope that you'll reconsider. I hope you'll do the right thing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Lisa Slender, is it? Stender? No, that's fine. No, I understand.
I'm Lisa Stender. I'm a homeowner here in Rock Island, and I am sorely upset about you guys using my tax dollars to fund this project of yours. The damage that will be done down there is just irreparable. You cannot go backwards. Once you've done the damage, you cannot get it back. I mean, I think you need to reconsider. You know, it should be more about the people. You know, you should listen to the people who you're supposed to be working for. You know, I have seen people leave my neighborhood in droves. Houses are being sold left and right. It's ridiculous. I mean, people are leaving Rock Island like you wouldn't believe. And why? Because of this kind of stuff. You guys don't listen to us. You just shoved it down our throats, like the casino out there. You said it wasn't going to affect the population. Well, it did. The numbers went from 22,000 to 9,000. Cut it in more than half in less than a couple years. And you guys don't really seem to matter. I mean, you're all sitting there smirking. They're telling you, you know, their needs. And you're sitting there smirking at them. That's just rude. You should listen to your constituents. Very frustrating.
Fine. I'm not sure if it's Lori, I think, McCullen. He left? Is it Craig Parman?
My name's Craig Pierman. I'm a second ward alderman in Silvis. I grew up in Rock Island, Watchtower. That was my neighborhood. And it's kind of hard to see this. And I'm not here to advocate for one side or the other. It's more about due diligence, I think. I'm going to remind some people about history in the Quad Cities. And this isn't also about just the bald eagle. I know we all know that. You guys care about these eagles as much as anybody out here or in the Quad Cities. I know you do. And as an alderman for the city, I also know about development. You got to have money coming in the city to pay the bills. Otherwise, all the homeowners have to foot the bill, and they don't want to do that either. It's a tough situation. I commend all of you for taking the time to listen to these people. They are listening to you. You got to give them that. I look at your symbol, and the first thing I see is, I'm guessing Blackhawk, but it certainly is a Native American Indian. And due diligence would say, what would he do? But let me get back to my story about history. In Hampton, a friend of mine, I'm old enough to know how history repeats itself. Don't tell anybody, but I'm old. Elton Fox, very good friend of mine. I'm an artist. I draw eagles. I study eagles. I used to study eagles with Elton Fox. He's the godfather of my first two children. He alone made sure they didn't put that motel up on the bluff over I-80 in Hampton. And by doing that, he restored not only that environment, but he was also spearheaded the DDTs in the waterways that seeped into the waterways. That was him and the University of Illinois. By stopping that, we now have an abundance of bald eagles. So that was the history lesson. Due diligence. 1 inch equals a mile with a lot of these investors. It's about money. They're there about money. They're not there about nature. Another one we need to remember, riverboat gambling. I'm old enough to remember in the 80s when they got beat up. Nobody wanted it here, but then they sold it. What if we put it out in the river, just in the river? But then the river became the dockside, and then the dockside became next to the dockside. And now we have gaming and gambling everywhere. My point is, due diligence would tell us all that 1 inch equals a mile. The old saying, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. And that's what investors, big money corporations do, 1 at a time. So when you start taking 10 acres out of a 300, 3,500, that's the 1 inch. 1 inch. I'm not saying to do it or not do it. I'm saying maybe you might want to look at some other areas. Because also Rock Island could be the city that advocates for itself by saying, look, we care about nature. That's going to draw people into your community too. There's two sides to every coin. We care so much about our nature and our wildlife and our citizens' voices that we found another location to put this development. I live in a city with an abundance of TIFs. We probably are the most TIF city in the state of Illinois per capita. They get abused in this state, something terrible. The word blighted is gone. I don't know if that land is blighted. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but each one of you have a responsibility to really look at that definition of what TIFs are in Illinois. Is it blighted just because it's a swamp or lowlands? I really don't know, but each side has a strong point, but your citizens certainly are speaking up. As an alderman, I would listen to each one of them, one at a time if I had to, and I have. And I'm just saying, please do your careful due diligence. Each one of you. Don't just buy into one thing, because a developer is going to sell you on their item. But the truth is, you've had biologists speak here. I'm just trying to help sort out history repeating itself. Take care of the things that can't speak. That's all your responsibilities. You represent not only these people, but we heard about microorganisms all the way up to the bald eagle. Well, there's even more than microorganisms. There's quantum physics involved. I'm not going to get into all that. But the bottom line is, I want to thank all of you. I've been here tonight. I don't come over here that often. Some friends of mine asked me to stop by. I did. I also want to let the citizens know, these guys don't have an easy job. I'm an alderman. They have a tough decision to make. And you guys got to be patient. Don't get angry. I know it's easy to get angry, but be patient. And let them do their job and trust that they'll do their job. Talk to them. Don't yell at them. And you guys, listen. I do see some of you aldermen paying attention carefully. Thank you. And God bless you. And God bless Rock Island. I grew up here when I was a little boy.
Thank you.
I miss the watchtower. I'll take that Blackhawk if you don't want it.
Martin Cheney, I think it's Gene. One, two, three, four after him.
Hello, City Council. My name is Martin Cheney. I am a registered Kickapoo Potawatomi Indian and also the president of the Intertribal League of American Indians. I am here for a different reason than the Eagles, of course. But on that note, I would just like to say that I'd be careful because some of that is burial land out there. And those eagles are very sacred. Just a word. I am here for the metallic icon statue that fell over 2 years ago, April 4th. We don't understand. My sister gets a little emotional, but it's been 2 years. I know we haven't really given you an agenda of what we want to do with it and why we want it. Well, to us, it's sacred. It's a lot of our family has been through here that have passed over that used to, love to see that when they came. I've lived here all my life, and that statue is almost as old as me. And I remember it. To us, it represents a diverse group of Native Americans, not just Black Hawk or Sac and Fox. It's not a political issue to us. To us, we're Native Americans, and we believe that that statue represents, like I said, a diverse group. We want to put it up back in Rock Island. I know it sat there on 11th Street for 62 years. Nobody paid any attention to it. Nobody, it was there. And, but when it fell over, everybody wanted it, and that's crazy. We always symbolized it as, this is Indian country. This whole 11th Street, Black Hawk Park, all of that was the main hub of the Meskwaki and the Sac and Fox. And we believe that we would like to get that Indian and put it up somewhere that will honor it and respect it. Instead of playing phone tag and running around, we would like an answer, because we can't do anything with our organization. We're a nonprofit too, but we can't do anything. We can't go around and ask for donations to something we don't even have. It's been sitting in the city lot for 2 years. Why? We want to restore it. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for the city to do it. We would do it. I don't know what the 2 years holdup is. If you wanted to, if you wanted to sell it to us at scrap price. We'll buy it. And we just want to restore it. We want to put it up somewhere that will respect it and honor it. And we prefer it to be in Rock Island because this is where it belongs. It belongs in the Quad Cities. The Quad City people, it belongs to them, us. And I get a little emotional about it, but it goes along with the Eagles and everything. This is Indian country. I know you talk about money and casinos and cannabis, but when it comes down to it, this is Indian country. And we just want to put that statue up. We're not asking you for money. We're not asking you we just want the statue. So we can put it up and honor it. And you asked us, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, I have a little proposal here real quick, and I'll run over it real quick.
You got about 45 seconds.
Oh, well, I don't know if okay. We just want to restore it, okay? If I got 45 seconds, I don't. We can get the funds to restore it when we get it. How can we get the funds if we don't have it? We ask you to just vote on it. Vote on it tonight. Just tell us if we can get it, and then we can go raise the funds for it, to repair it, to fix it, to put it in a beautiful location, to honor it and respect it, preferably in Rock Island. But if you don't want it, that's fine. Give it to us. We'll put it in a beautiful place. So, but 2 years and nothing.
Time's up, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, you said keep it on the down low, but 2 years is a little. Thank you very much for your time.
Rudy? It's his birthday, huh?
Hey, yeah. Today is my birthday, April the 14th, and I just turned 78 and feeling great.
There you go.
So,
that's great.
You know, I was thinking, what a nice birthday present that would be if you guys would vote right now and say, hey, listen, we're giving it to you guys, and that's what we need, because when we go and talk to people, we're just blowing smoke up in the air because we don't have it. You know, they ask, do you have it? No. Where's it at? At the Rock Island? That's at the grounds garage. I mean, you know, we just can't, we don't have no negotiating leverage, you know. But if we would go and talk to the folks, talk to people, if you vote tonight, say it's yours. All you got to do is just say it's yours. Keep it in the grounds garage over on Rock Island. Keep it there. And let us do our thing, okay? Give us some time to do it so we can go and maybe talk to East Moline, maybe put it up at the Bend, maybe put it at, you know, I hate to say Alinawick, maybe I love it, Alinawick. We have our teepee gathering there, you know? That would be a beautiful place to put it. There's a town called McQuan down by Galesburg. They want it. But we want to keep it in the Quad City area. And like I say, it's been up here 62 years in the Quad Cities. People, they want it back up. Everyone that I've talked to, they've said, we want it up. We'd like to have it back up. And we do. I mean, everyone here I know wants to have it back up. So vote tonight. Just say, hey, take it. It's yours. That's the key. It's yours. Keep it in the grounds garage and let us do our thing. You know, just say it's yours. You know, that's all we ask. Now, concerning the eagle, you know, every flag behind you, you know, on top of those flags is the bald eagle. And what I do is I go to a lot of schools, I go to nursing homes, and I talk about the eagle. And I talk about the eagle and what it represents to the American Indian. You know, it's a very, very sacred bird to the American Indian. I talk about the white head. It's a mature eagle with a white head and white tail feathers. What those tail feathers represent to the American Indian. 12 tail feathers on an eagle. The 2 middle feathers on that tail represent the chief. The 2 feathers on the very end of that tail represents, they are the dance feathers that go up here on your head roach. The remaining feathers, honesty, truth, majesty, strength, courage, wisdom, power, and the last one is freedom, you know. And I say, and that's what this is all about, the freedom of our country. And that's why I'm so proud to show that eagle, to show that eagle to the young children, because I tell them around our area, people from all over the world, especially during bald eagle season when it's cold in our area, they come down here and take pictures. I mean, you know, you see those big cameras all around, up and down the river, all around, and we have a beautiful state right here. We have a beautiful community right here in Rock Island. I mean, it's beautiful. Them bottoms down there in Rock and down by the casino. I mean, that's beautiful down there. That's where the Sauk and the Fox, the Mesquakies, the Kickapoos were down in that area. There's a lake, there's a stream down there, Kickapoo Slough. You know, think of all the Indians that might have traveled around that area and done their hunting. You know, and also we got to worry about even there might have been even burial grounds around there. We don't know. So I want to thank you, but I just ask for, give me a birthday present and vote tonight. Vote tonight. And all you got to do is say it's yours. It's yours. Keep it in the grounds garage. Keep it there. You know, keep it there. But just give us the word. Say it's yours, and then, man, that would be a big blessing. You know, that's where we can go and talk to folks. And you know, Rock Island, yeah. Of course, there's a lot of nice places in Rock Island, but there's a lot of nice places along the river too, and Moline and East Moline. So thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Yeah. Just for clarification, if we wanted to vote on it tonight, we cannot. Legally, it has to be on the agenda to vote on. Otherwise, if we had, I didn't say we're voting. I said it needs to be on the agenda.
Yeah, you can give it.
You get it. He'll give it to you. Yeah, yeah.
So you're telling us your next meeting then you're going to put it on the agenda?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Or we got to wait another 2 years?
Can I make a comment on that real quick? I just want to be clear. When we had this up for discussion, we were trying to put out an RFP on it. We got criticized that we were getting rid of it. It was offensive to a lot of people. So we heard both sides of it. I understand your feelings on it, but there's two sides to every story. We got to fill everything out. So even though you may want it and it's inspirational to you, but it was offensive to a lot of people, and we were told that repeatedly. So that's why it's very hard to just make a decision. There's a lot of information that goes into that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's right. Moses is correct, but we can't keep moving. We can't get the dialogue back and forth, or we'll be here even later, so I apologize. Natalie Yates. And Natalie leave. All right. Dominica Gray, I maybe get that wrong. I apologize. What's that? Deonica, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm new to this. Lauren. Hi, my name's Deonica Gray. I'm 25 years old. I was born in Rock Island, and I was raised in Rock Island County. I would like to call myself a political activist. I advocate a lot for Palestine and Congo and the Native Americans, and really all the press groups. Ultimately, I feel as though I have been lied to my whole life on the morals of this system. But instead of crying and being angry, I have decided to put myself out here and advocate for change. For the last couple months, I have been organizing with Jakarta Jackson's family, demanding justice for Jakarta. The last few months have been extremely disappointing. The lack of care for human life by the Rock Island Police Department and city is concerning as a biracial black woman in this community. I believe that Jakarta has exposed a great amount of racism that is intertwined within our justice system. Although historically, it's what this capitalistic hellhole was founded off of. But this isn't 1492, and we will not stand by any longer and let injustice take place. When you tell an unarmed child, I will fucking shoot you, bitch, multiple times, that is premeditated murder. Brett Taylor told Jakarta he would kill him, and he did. And that's where I want to leave that. I would also like to speak up for the land and for the animals who are actively becoming extinct every day. When will it end? When will we learn that you don't own the land? You're just visitors, but in my own words, I would like to say invaders. Mark, I'll be taking your spot. For us, we put you in that seat, and personally, I will take you out of it. Now, pertaining to Agenda 8C, how pathetic of you to assume that you would even put a dent in what we have brewing. It's very laughable, honestly. We will not be silenced, and I hope you remember my name. It's Deonica, by the way. And that's all.
Teray is McDowell.
Good evening. Thank you guys for coming out, showing the support for the bottoms. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate what the Native American First Nation. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you guys for actually having patience to be here too. But I come on behalf of Jakarta Jackson once again. See, each time that we come up here and ask you guys to give us some sort of justice when it comes to humanity, you still haven't broached it, you haven't approached the topic, you're leaving it in the hands of the lawyers. What we've seen was an actual travesty. You can sit back and say that, well, he used the car as a weapon and as justification, but when Jakarta first jumped in the car, it was going. He didn't pull off. It was only after the windows were being busted out and they kept yelling for him to stop and telling him that there were children in the car that he attempted to flee. Or you guys didn't watch that part of the video. So each time that we come back asking you guys to give us something in support of justice and actual change for the people, you keep ignoring it. I sat back and listened to the whole council service. You guys haven't brought anything changing the policies about de-escalation. The only thing that you guys have still spoken on is the language that he used. Someone lost their life. It's not the first time. Second time during your watch, right? So we're asking, after you guys have seen what the people have came out and voted, showing you that they want change, will you at least listen? But yet, no one is. You guys push on policies. All these people came out, they had petitions signed, but you're still pushing forward with the same agenda. You guys are supposed to represent the people. The people. And if the people are telling you what they want, and you guys are refusing to listen, I mean, I understand some of the things you guys actually tabled, but it just sounded absurd. When you guys should, you represent thousands of people here in Rock Island. Shouldn't you want to know what they want? And so when we show up, you guys want to attempt to limit that. When we're asking you for justice, we're asking you to actually consider that this was a young man, this was a father. But I digress. I want to go back to her report, the state's attorney. She said in there that he was protecting the lives of the people in the car. He said he didn't know if there was a weapon in the car because of the heavily tinted windows. Well, that didn't stop him from just running up there. He didn't seek cover and say, get out of the car. He ran up there that he couldn't see into the window. Correct? So if he had a gun in there and he had shot him through the window that he couldn't see through, your argument falls flat. And for you guys to say that this was justice. Now me, I'm going to turn to the people. Everybody that's been here tonight, everybody that's come down here with their issues, I'm telling you, I don't care if you're independent, Republican, Democrat, vote. Because if they're not listening to us, the people, vote them out of office. The people that are doing things like Chief McLeod, who is no longer here, get them removed. If he won't fire them, get somebody in there that will. Because we're not asking for too much. We're asking you guys to be actual people that govern. But notice, as the Bible encourages us, a true leader is the servant of his people. We're not here to serve at the discretion of the council or the mayor. You guys are here at our discretion. You guys are here to serve the public. We are John Q. Public. Come and support us. Listen to what we're telling you. If we're not asking for these things, what are you guys actually doing? I get it. You got to create a tax revenue. You got to get a tax base. But like they've been saying, 11th Street's blighted. You see, with Rock Island being landlocked, you got to find another way to bring people, encourage families to move here, to spend money here, but actually trying to do things to what? What's next? He was right. The gentleman was right. What? It's going to be strip clubs all up and down that? What are we doing? Are we going to legalize drugs in that area?
30 seconds.
It's just something. We have to get back to putting people first. I was here when Project Now was here talking about homelessness and your views on that and pushing them out of that area. But what are we doing? There was a question that Jesus raised in the Bible about, was man made for the Sabbath or was the Sabbath made for man? Are you guys here for the people or are you here for something else? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes everybody that's signed up, and so we're going to continue. When? We had a second sign-up sheet after the first meeting, and I read every name that was on that sign-up sheet.
I was on the second sheet. What's your name, ma'am?
What's the name?
Okay, well, we didn't see it because it wasn't in the proper thing.
Oh, was it on the side?
It was written on the side.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. That's fine.
That's okay.
No.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
I know it's getting late. And hi, guys. Thank you for the fence thing. My name is Julie Good, and I am here because I am a past wildlife rehabber. I'm a photographer, and I'm also one of the many volunteers of the Eagle Foundation. that do the counting up and down the river from LeClaire all the way up to Lock and Dam 14. As a wildlife rehabber, you know that with the disruption of the light, noise, pollution, these eagles, during the nest time with the eagles, it's 8 to 9 weeks before the eagles have their eggs to the time the babies hatch. If the development happens, those eagles will be abandoned. They're very, very sensitive, like all mothers are very protective of their babies. The eagles are too. And they will flee and they will abandon their nest, and that will leave Tamara and Jim, who are from Hog Wild Capital. They're here tonight too as wildlife rehabbers for eagles. They will have to raise those babies. That's a problem. Another issue and then I'm going to be talking about a photographer, because we all love money. I make prints off of my money from prints from eagles. That's my #1 sales. You guys like money. What I would really like to see is an ecosystem of you guys doing a preserve. There's over 5,000 members. That's part of a Facebook group from photographers all over the place. They come down from the UK, from Japan, all over the world just to do eagles, and we spend all of our time up and down between Lock and Dam 14 and Lock and Dam 15, including the Milan Bottoms. Taking that away and developing that will also take away our photography, and it will take away the eagles. When they built the casino, our count with eagles was over 4,000 eagles. After the Baileys was born, it dropped to 2,000 eagles. This last count, we were counting between 1,500 eagles, between the babies to the adults. And it would bring a lot of money in, a lot of donations. And thank you for your time. And
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're ready for item number 17 on the agenda.
Closed session.
Sheet, it's unfortunately on the second sheet that we had. We read all the names. She might have signed the very first one during the study session, and when we ended that, we had put a second sheet back there and said everybody need to re-sign up for that.
Just let her.
All right. That's fine. Come on up. Council one is fine. Okay with it. So.
I'm Elaine Bellhouse. My father farmed the ground just southwest of the site until I was 6, which was 1944. Then he bought a farm 2 miles west on Andalusia Road, where my brother's family lived there still. My grandfather farmed the farm next to it and was killed when a tree fell on him, cutting wood in the bottoms to heat his home with his 10 children. I've lived in Rock Island County all of my life. I've raised 8 children, have 20 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. And there are only 5 in this number of 40 that do not live in the state of Illinois. Most of them live in Rock Island County. That's how important family is to us. 2 miles south of the area, I own the in-laws' land. This has been in the family 153 years. 1 daughter and 3 granddaughters now live there. We, our community, and local residents are upset. And over 4,500 signatures have signed to save the wildlife and put the truck stop elsewhere. We will fight. We will never support this. We will boycott it, and if necessary, we will be getting an injunction against it, looking out for the future generations and the wildlife. You will still get your sales tax revenue if you pick a different site. The banks won't finance them. Why should we? Thank you for listening.
Thank you. All right, now we're item number 17.
Closed session A5 ILCS 122C11 litigation when an act against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the findings shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. 5 ILCS 122C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body.
Move to go to closed session for the exceptions cited.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?